Okay, in this video we're going to look at the law of sines. So we've used the sine ratio in finding angles and sides in right triangles, but not every triangle we encounter is a right triangle. So what do we do if it's not? Well, you can use law of sines, and here's what the law of sines says. The sine of angle A over side A equals the sine of angle B over side B equals the sine of angle C over side C. So in other words, these are all proportional. And so first I want you to notice a couple of things here. You've got capital A, capital B, capital C. All the capitals represent angles. And then across from those angles you have the lowercase letters. Lowercase a, lowercase b, lowercase c. So the lowercase letters represent the sides. And then notice that angle A is across from side A, angle B is across from side B, angle C is across from side C. And so that's how we're going to look at our formula here while we're setting this up. So what we're going to do is use not all three ratios, but we're going to use just two and set up a proportion to solve for either a side or an angle. So in this problem, where it says to find AB, so if you look, I have angle C across from side C that I'm looking for. I have angle B across from side B, which is 7. In this scenario, that's when you want to use law of sines. You have angles and sides that are across from each other with only one unknown. And so we can go ahead and set up the proportion. So if you remember the formula, we're going to do sine of the angle divided by its opposite side. So we're going to do sine of 53 degrees divided by x, and then equals sine of 44 degrees divided by 7. And you have a proportion. You know how to solve those. You just cross multiply. So x times the sine of 44 degrees equals 7 times the sine of 53 degrees. And then to get x alone, you would have to divide by the sine of 44 degrees. So in our calculators, we're going to take 7 times the sine of 53, hit enter, then divide by the sine of 44. And this is actually number 2 on your homework sheet if you haven't noticed. And when you do that, you're going to get x to the nearest tenth, it comes out right to 8. So 8 units for that side length. So I guess I could put AB equals 8. Okay, this is number 1 from your homework sheet. This time we're looking for side AC. And, well, if I look, hey, I have x across from the 22, so I could do sine of 22 degrees over x, and then I'm going to do sine of another angle over its opposite side. So here's the problem. I know the 24, but I don't know the angle across from it. I know angle A is 118, but I don't know the side across from it. Well, one of those you can find. So in your head you should be thinking, what can I do in this problem? What, at the very least, could I find? And the answer is you can find angle C. If you know two angles in a triangle, you know those always add up to 180 degrees. So if you take 180 and subtract off the 118 and the 22, that means angle C is 40 degrees. And now you can use this other set here for your law of sines. So sine of 40 degrees over 24, and now we've got our proportion. So we're going to cross multiply. X times the sine of 40 equals 24 times the sine of 22. Make sure your calculator's in degrees for this again. Oops. So you're going to do 24 times the sine of 22, hit enter, divide by the sine of 40, so you're actually hitting the sine key, and that comes out to 14 units. So what side was that? AC? Yeah. So the length of AC is 14 units. Okay. Now, in the first couple examples, I was having you find sides. Now we're going to look at one where you have to find an angle. So we're looking for the measure of angle C. So I'm going to put a big X there. And I can use law of sines. I've got this set and this set I can use, and I'm looking for that X or angle C. So I don't need the 16.1 at all, but let's go ahead and set up our proportion. So this time I would do sine of X, because I don't know it, divided by 21 equals the sine of 88 divided by 26. And then I can cross multiply. I'm going to have, well, I'm going to put the number first. 26 times the sine of x equals 21 times the sine of 88. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different this time because now we're going to divide by the 26 on both sides. And we've got sine of x equals. Alright, so go ahead and you're going to plug that in your calculator. 21 times the sine of 88, divide by 26. Now, before when we were using our trig ratios, anytime we were finding an angle, we always wanted it rounded to 4 decimal places. So we're going to do the same here. This comes out to 0.8072. So the sine of x equals 0.8072. Now you should know what comes next because we've done this. I'm trying to get x alone. I'm trying to find that angle. I need to get rid of sine. So anytime we're finding an angle, you're going to put second sine or cosine or tangent, whatever you're using, in your calculator to cancel that out. So we're going to use our arc sine or inverse sine here. So we're going to do second sine 0.8072 and to the nearest tenth, 53.8 degrees for the measure of angle C. So just like before, when you're finding side lengths, you'll be hitting just the sine key. When you're finding an angle, you will have to, at the very end, hit second and then sine when you're using law of sines to find an angle measure. Okay, so that is law of sines.